Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? The King of Lightning here today to do One Piece Chapter 773 review, half and half. Half man, half amazing, half man, half monster. Arnold Palmer alerts, Two-Face, you fucking name it, that is Cavendish and Hakuba. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, in this corner here is going to be the live reaction. Click on that, watch that first, then come back to me for the review. And I gotta say, one of the biggest things in this chapter that I did like seeing was Robin actually being fairly impressive, shutting down Hakuba, and she actually saved Rebecca. And it looks like it's going to be Kiros and Robin, and maybe Rebecca too, against Diamante. So the last time we had like a solid, decent fight when it came to Robin was back in like the Skypiea days, alright, against Yama. Alright, against Pound Mountain, like that dude. Massive and just speed and just weights and axe dials and shit. Pound Mountain. But it looks like we're getting some good shit from Robin nowadays. And, I mean, because think about it. Robin didn't do much during Punk Hazard. She didn't do much during, she did do a lot, but not like as much as, let's say, the Monster Trio or Rook or Chopper when it came to Fishman Island, because she didn't have a one-on-one fight against anybody. So it's been a long time, because we've known that Robin was actually fairly powerful, and this chapter is a good indication of that, because Robin, she's able to shut down Hakuba. But the fact of the matter is that she never really got the love that she deserved when it came from a fighting standpoint, like one-on-one battles. Now, granted, it's going to be 2-on-1, but it's Diamante, someone who is of high caliber. Diamante, it looks like he's going to be the first, like, top executive that's going to be taken out in the Dressrosa arc. Because Pika's still doing his thing. Pika's still, like, hiding somewhere in like, the dirt and shit, like, morphing, like, yeah, Pika, and he's doing his own stupid shit. And then Trebol, he's next to Dolphy. He ain't going down anytime soon. So that's just the way it is. So it looks like Robin and Kiros versus... Well, then again, Cavendish is asleep and Bartolomeo's severely wounded. So yeah, it's going to be Robin and Kiros and maybe Rebecca against Diamante, and they're going to beat him. Now, what I do want to backpedal to is the fact that Robin did shut down Hakuba, because that has stirred up some debate. The Zorro fanboys are like, oh, fucking yeah. It's like, okay. Alright. Zorro fanboys, calm the fuck down. Because you have to understand that Hakuba's main prowess is speed. And Robin has been an individual who has always, her powers are so convenient to where, in essence, if you require footing in order to maneuver, she can just shut you down. Or if you require some type of muscle movements. So it's not like it's freaking Kizaru and he can just like morph through that shit. No. But the point here is that when it came to Hakuba, seemingly so, he was uncontested and he would just slice apart anybody who was in his way in an instant or so. And the fact of the matter is that there was a conflict of power between Cavendish and Hakuba. So you can't say that Hakuba couldn't have broken out of Robin's stranglehold, or like her hold, pretty much, because it's not a stranglehold, he's not choking him, or she isn't, but because there was conflict, because he had the whole Two-Face thing going on, and there was an argument between himself and Hakuba, he couldn't focus on breaking out. So from that strength standpoint, obviously, there's no reason to believe that he couldn't break out of it because, again, there was an internal conflict with the split personalities. When it comes to the speed thing, someone did mention the fact that, well, because, again, we're not too sure if he has precog, but I did notice that when Hakuba was blitzing towards her, she had like a small panel where she felt a shiver. So I'm not saying it's precog, but she may have had some type of like feeling, like some type of like something's amiss, and then she reacted instinctively. Otherwise, I don't see why there would have been that shiver small panel when Hakuba was running up the cliff. Furthermore, there was Bartolomeo's warning ahead of time, which I'm not too sure if she heard before Hakuba actually got there. Now I'm not too sure, but he was yelling, he was yelling like, "Robin, watch out, Robin senpai!" Finally, there is the fact that there was a considerable amount of distance between Hakuba and Robin to begin with. I'll probably gesture to say several hundreds of meters before he could actually reach her. And that makes a difference, because that increases the time frame, whether it be by a few seconds or milliseconds, whatever. That increases the time frame, which allows her more time to react. And because her ability can literally sprout out of nowhere, she could have easily pinned him down even without seeing him, because her ability allows for that type of maneuver. So the fact of the matter here is that a lot of things come into factor, but I honestly still believe that based on what we've seen thus far, I mean, granted, he's taken out like a lot of noobs. Well, okay. I can't say noobs because they're not like full on bitches, but the Block D cats were like low, they were like mid low tier dudes. So he's very impressive thus far. He's been cutting down guys like it's nothing. So I'm not saying that Zorro couldn't do that. I'm saying, he clearly could, but not to that degree. And from a skill standpoint, I'm not saying that Hakuba is also better than Zorro, but he probably is just as good. The only factor that goes against Hakuba in that scuffle, if that Zorro versus Hakuba match were ever to happen, the only thing that actually be like a distinct factor against him is the fact that he has a time limit. He can't stay there he can't control capture his body for an extended period of time, for like a few seconds, give or take. A minute at most. So in the long run, Cavendish has to usurp Hakuba, or they have to like work together in order to utilize their full power, some shit like that. So at the end of the damn day, the point here is that, is Hakuba in my mind stronger than Zorro? I think he does still have the edge. I really do believe that, because that speed is disgusting. But there are caveats that have to be mentioned, and there are hints here or there that Robin was using a certain degree of precog. May have been instinctive, or she may have done so willingly. Not too sure at this point in time. We're not. Again, you have that small shiver panel. Like, she felt like some ominous thing was coming her way, and she had to just, do something. Now, getting back to what was the fight between Bartolomeo and Gladius. Again, I gotta give Gladius a lot of credit, because Gladius is actually doing some pretty impressive shit. And the fact that he was able to just make that entire side of the cliff start to slowly erupt, very impressive. And I did notice that Bartolomeo wasn't using his, he wasn't doing this. He wasn't, like the second time, third time round, I didn't remember that he used to go like this the entire time. Like, yeah, just stand there like this. Yeah. And now he's not doing that. Now you see him make the homage spirit fist. Homage spirit fist. Yeah. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe in that case, there's an exemption when he's putting the barrier on his hand. I don't know. Well, then again, when I remember that he didn't have his fingers crossed when he was doing his body pistol, but I don't recall that if he did it for his barrier ball. So maybe he did. Like, maybe he had his thing like the barrier ball, and then he had one hand and he stabbed with the other hand, something like that. I don't know, but at least I don't remember. But for the homeward spirit fist body pistol, he didn't have his fingers crossed. So I remember someone telling me before that was just like a gag. Like, in reality, he doesn't need to do that. I don't know. I mean, I thought that it was like a definite, like he has to cross his fingers in order to actually use his powers. That's what I assumed. But then again, because he did it in this chapter, we can assume that there is some degree of leeway when it comes to actually using his barrier powers. So, I mean, even when he did his barrier bull or his barrier, I remember when he took out what's his name, Elisabello. When he sent the barrier crashing towards Elisabello in Block B, he saw his fingers cross. He just went like boom, and then it just smacked him in the head. So there are some caveats there too. But overall, the chapter, it is fairly simple, and it is the wrapping up of the third plateau, which is good. So it looks like Oda has finally gotten to the closing of this particular arc. And since this arc has been fairly hectic and fairly crazy thus far, I'm not going to say that's going to be as good, because in the manga, it was fantastic. In the anime, it was something else. Because in the anime, I'm not comparing the anime to anime. Oh my god, what's happening? I'm going to compare manga to manga. From a manga standpoint alone, the fight between Luffy and Rob Lucci was epic. It was, well, like, this is, yeah, like, it was beastly in the manga. And in the anime, even more so. One of the few times where they actually did it right, in my personal opinion, where they actually made the anime a lot better than the manga. For that, well, you know what, fuck it. Back in the old days, the One Piece anime, in my mind, was actually better on a regular basis than the manga, whatever. Point here is this. When it comes to this fight that's coming up, whether it be Luffy versus Flamingo, whether Law's still going to do his thing. I mean, he has one arm now. I'm not too sure. The point here is that whoever winds up being like the main combatant in this fight against Flamingo, I can see it being just as good, if not a lot better, than Luffy versus Rob Lucci. I can see that Oda, he's trying to get all of this unnecessary fluff out of the way. I mean, we may at some point go back to like Frankie and Senor, but that's going to be probably either after this Diamante and Robin and Kiro scuffle, or maybe, because I don't want Oda to do it during the fight between Flamingo versus whoever. If Oda's going to if he's going to remove all the stuff from from the second plateau, the third plateau, now the fourth plateau is going on, if all these fights are done, we can focus on Flamingo versus Luffy and maybe Law, and then Trevo's in there too. I don't know, but we can focus on the battle, make the battle something special, because a lot of times in One Piece we have battles that seemingly, like, Oda doesn't focus on them. Like, what Oda will do is that he'll have the fight start, and then in the midst of that battle he'll go to like other shit. And then he'll have one chapter of wrapping up, of focus. These last few chapters have been wrapping up a focus when it comes to level 2 and level 3 of the plateaus. So, but beforehand, he was fucking everywhere. Furthermore, I want this whole man Sherry thing to be done with, because I can see Oda trying to like put other stuff to like extend or prolong this fight, or like not have to do so many panels for that fight. Like all of a sudden the dwarves are inside the castle, then it's man Sherry. Like no. Fuck that. Let's focus on the goddamn battle. Because it's been a long time since we've gotten that lengthy battle where it extends multiple chapters from Ichiro Oda. So we need that. We need that. And Flamingo is the perfect dude. He's a perfect man. So let's make it happen. So, I mean, the only exception would be if we find out what Sanji's happening. If we find out what's going on with Sanji, okay, fine. Then I'll give some leeway there. All right, because I gotta find out. I have to. This is a must for me. All right, I live and breathe Sanji. Fuck. All right, so I'm done. Overall chapter rating is gonna be a good plus, and I will see you guys later. Well, I did like it a lot. Great. And I'll see you guys later. Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice one.